Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Hair Social with me, my good friend, mentor, a lot of things to be fair, but we'll go into that later on. Christian Wiles is live from Northampton in his salon. We are excited. We've got giveaways. We've got free education. We've got an insight to a course that is developed and out there with Matrix. You're getting all this for free. All you need to do is be part of the community that is a Hair Socials. For those of you that are watching, let us know where you're watching from. Have you seen Christian before? Can't wait to hear everybody. What salon are you from? Quick one on Banner of the Week. We've got Banner of the Week out. It's had like 90 comments already, 90 entries. New thing to come in Banner of the Week is you're not just going to get the banner now. If you're named as a finalist, we're going to use you and promote your work throughout the week as well. So people are jumping into the chat already, Christian, so that's a good start. People are watching. But as we speak, I'm going to hand over to the wonderful Christian Wiles. Christian, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, mate. Very good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, that's all right, mate. I've done my bit. That's my hard bit done. It's all down to you now.
Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
What we're learning from you today, then, Christian?
Fine. Okay, then. So we've got a bit of a March takeover, haven't we? Really, with Matrix. You know, the March takeover with Simon and Christian for the whole month.
the whole month. Do you know what? I haven't announced it yet. No, so I'll let you do the honours. But yeah, this week is yourself. And then we've got a special one-off unseen Hair Socials that I've never done before, which is me and you, innit?
We're doing it. Oh yeah, because we're yes, we are. So it's me, then it's you, then it's a double team, isn't it?
It's a double act live from your salon.
Yeah, double act from the studio. Yeah, so that's working. I mean, yeah, that's going to be a good day. That's going to be a long day, and then the next day is going to be long as well, isn't it?
It's like a bad Anton deck.
Yeah.
I was going to say, sorry, we have a giveaway. I mentioned it earlier. We have a giveaway. Thanks to your friends. I also have had Matrix promise me that there's a colour bundle in here, but I can't give you the details of what.
Yeah.
But your friends at Salon Supplies, there they are on the big screen.
Yeah, this is organised by the wonderful Frankie Boxford at Salon Supplies. We have got the new controller gel. We have got the new fixer spray. We have got the new Overachiever, and we have got High Riser, and then we've also got, we're throwing in 2 Vavoom sprays, both from freezing spray, one of them extra body and one of them extra hold. Okay, so fantastic gift. What have they got to do, Simon?
So yeah, thank you very much to Salon Supplies for that, and Matrix, who are going to give you a colour bundle. If you want to win these prizes, I mean, I don't even know what the retail of that is, but with the colour, we're well over £100, I'm imagining. Yeah, so if you want to win all of this, the brand new packaging, the Matrix colours, the Matrix products, thanks to Salon Supplies, all you need to do is share this live and then comment one hairdresser that you think would enjoy this live. Christian's going to tell you what this live is all about in a second, but yeah, that's all you need to do. It's the easiest competition you will ever enter. There's no texting, no nothing like that. Just share the live and tag an hairdresser. Easy as that. So, Christian, over to you.
Okay then, so what I'm going to take you through today is basically working with short hair, okay? So I've got a new course that's launched. I think my first class is on the 1st of April, beginning of April. It's not the 1st of April, because that would be a joke, wouldn't it? No, it's at the beginning of April. It's at the beginning of April. And it's called The Perfect Pixie. Now, this originally was done by a good friend of mine, put together by the wonderful Ross Taylor, and Ross is having a little bit of time out at the moment, so I've picked it up. I'm running all these courses for this year. So obviously I've adapted it and put my own stamp on it and looked at how really people approach short hair, what tools we can use to actually make our cutting time a lot easier, actually understanding some tools that we probably would rather stay away from or have the fear of. Okay, so what I've done is I've already cut one, and I'm going to give you a snapshot, because if I gave you it all, you wouldn't come on the course. And this is just one of the haircuts on the course that we're working with. Now, I've not finished it yet, but we're going to come into that with actual finishing products. Okay, um, so this is working with a combination of scissor work, clipper work, and razor work. Okay,
Yeah.
which is basically giving us multiple textures throughout the haircut. Okay, and also what I'm going to take you through is a snapshot of, I suppose, each tool and the best way of using that tool. So if you do come on one of my courses, at least you've got a little bit of practice by watching this episode of Hair Socials.
Correct.
Okay. So firstly, the three key points would be clipper work, scissor work, and then razor work. Okay. So firstly, working with clippers. Okay. So I've already cut the shape into the haircut using scissors. Okay. Yeah. Combs through the fingers, a little bit of scissor over comb, which I thought that you'd be bored stiff watching a haircut, I guess, for over that period, or maybe not. But just little snapshots and tips and tricks on how you could get the best out of your short haircuts. Okay, and most people know I'm quite. If there's an easier way of doing something, I'll do it. If it has the same impact. Okay, so firstly, understanding your clippers. All right. So the first thing, both Simon and I work for this wonderful brand called Gamma Plus. Okay, a fabulous electrical company. In my mind, the best clippers that I've used over the period of me working with clippers. One of the preferred ones, I mean, I've got about 3 or 4 different clippers. One that I prefer the most for every day is the Gamma Ergo. The reason being is the shape of it fits in your hand a lot easier, and it helps with sort of like repetitive strain. It's got a hell of a motor on it as well, so it pretty much carves through everything. Okay, then, so what we're going to do is work freehand or clipper through comb. We're using a wide comb, okay, and this is what I tend to use this as a guard. Okay, yeah. So we're working through. In fact, it'd probably be easier if I come this side. Then you're going to be able to see exactly what we're actually doing. Here's another tip for you as well. When you're working with clippers, work on dry hair.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get the result you desire working on wet hair. What you can do and what we do, working, because I am a real hairdresser as well. I actually work behind the chair, so I'm not just educating or, doing sort of like product launches or show work or shoots or whatever. I actually do.
Like me.
Sorry?
Like me.
I do actually do clients' hair as well. So I run a column 4 days a week, 10 hours a day. Same as what you guys do, and I think that keeps you grounded. I think everything really have commercial value, through what we're actually teaching. That you're going to be able to use that on an everyday, occurrence when you're working behind the chair. Otherwise, to be honest with you, my thought on it, and I'm sure that a load of other people will say differently, there's no point. There's absolutely no point. If you're going to, teach something that is just going to be for a shoot, I'm not massively, but people do that. That's absolutely fine. I'm just, it's an opinion, isn't it? Right.
No,
okay.
I agree. I must admit, after I go into the salon, I feel more consistent with my hairdressing. I'll be honest with you that when I'm doing my friends on a regular and I'm doing all this stuff, I must admit my consistency of standards stays at a higher level in myself.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Simon. And I think as well, what I try and do is when I'm actually putting a course together and delivering a course, I kind of look at every aspect. So it won't just be, the ease or the techniques or whatever. It would also be what that hairdresser will be able to take away with them and then reuse straight away in the salon. And they're going to have that light bulb moment where they're like, actually, do you know what? He's right with that. That's actually helped me. That's what we do it for, isn't it?
It certainly is.
So got nothing to do with the money at all. So a bit of prep work. What you can do, prior to clippering, and you must have this, right? I mean, you'll know this. You do a lot of gents as well. We'll get a man come in, and he's got product in his hair. And traditionally, what you do is you work maybe with a little bit of clipper work on it dry, wash it through, and then do all your personalising and texturising all the rest of it through that. Just because you need to see how the hair falls, don't you? Otherwise you can't calculate exactly what you're going to do. Now, the best tip, and when you're trying to do a fade, and you'll know this, it sticks, where the product's on it, it sticks to the head, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And like you're trying to clipper it, and you think you've done this great fade, then you wash it through, you dry it, and you're like, oh, you need to go back over it again. So, what a great little tip for you would be is to use Total Result or Matrix Alternate Action. Okay, it's a clarifying shampoo. It's going to remove any unwanted product in the hair, which is absolutely superb. But what it does do is it just lifts the hair from the scalp. So you get, and then you wash it through, you dry it, then you do your clipper work. Okay, with that alternate action, this is if you're not doing colour work. So if you're doing colour work, it's just going to pull that colour, it's going to leach it straight out. So you've done this wonderful colour and use that product, it's going to fade straight away. But if you're not doing colour work and it's just a haircut, I'd work with alternate action, and it's going to raise that hair from the scalp. So when you come in and you're doing, you're working with your clippers, yeah, it's lifted it from the scalp. It makes it a lot easier. It's not stuck to the scalp.
What product's that?
Sorry?
What product was that again, sorry?
Alternate Action clarifying shampoo. Yeah, absolutely superb. It's also good. It's also good for if you've had, because of course we never do. We've never experienced this at all because we're brilliant in the studio, and obviously things never go wrong. But if you're ever to overtone someone's hair, as an example, yeah, as long as you do it within preferably straight away. Shampoo Alternate Action on there, leave it for a few minutes, and then rinse it off, and it will just draw that fresh tone out. Try that first before you actually then do, a free lightener to draw it out. It usually works. That usually works. We did have another product that was absolutely superb for that, but they don't. It's discontinued, unfortunately. So Alternate Action, it's really good as well. For like swimmers' hair. You can work that in, shampoo it in, leave it on, like neat, bag it up, put it under heat, it draws it out, the chlorine. It's brilliant product. All right then, so we've prepped the hair with Alternate Action. Yeah. The hair's away from the scalp. It's nice and clean, great to work with. Cheat sheet, wide comb, right? Yeah. You're using this as a clipper guard. You can put it into the hairline, and you can lift it out so it's level with the parietal ridge, yeah? Because when you're actually working, you don't want to round it off unless you want a mohawk, yeah? You're still working, I suppose, quite squarely, with the head shape. Okay, you work your comb in. Open taper. You know the difference between an open and a closed taper, right? Yeah. That's that lever that's here. Yeah. If anyone was ever wondering what that actually did. And opening it right up makes the, when you're cutting the hair, it makes it a lot softer. Okay, yeah. Closed taper, it's a lot harder. It's a lot of a harder line, and it's going to work with bulk reduction. Okay, so open taper, it's always a safety net, along with your comb, which is a safety net as well. That's tight on the head there, and then you just literally working the clippers straight up. Okay.
Are you moving the top of the comb out, or are you keeping it static?
It's out. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's out like that. Right, so bringing it outside, so we've got a nice little bit of graduation. All right, because especially when you're working with ladies' hair, if you are doing any clipper work, we still want to keep it reasonably feminine.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
So, nice and tight in there. So that is a great way of if you haven't got time, see how quickly that works, yeah? If you haven't got time to work with scissor over comb techniques, that also works with scissor over comb. If you haven't got time for that, then that is a great way of removing bulk reduction. It's also great with an open taper, just to then freehand that in around the edges, just to sort of like clear up that hairline, okay? So we've done that.
I always say that the open clipper is similar to, you know, when you take all the hair off, but you do it with a thinning or a texturizing scissor.
Yeah.
But once you've took it all off, it's still the same haircut, the same shape, but it's a lot softer.
It is a lot softer. I think understanding the biggest thing, really, the biggest education is actually understanding your tools, isn't it? You know, like you say, I always say texturise, never call them thinners, yeah?
Yeah.
And we do fall into that because we know what they are, right? But usually there's a client that has had the worst experience with a pair of them texturizers, right? At some point in their life, where you bring them out and they're like, they pull back as if saying, no, you're not using that.
Yeah.
You know, you're sort of like, right, I'm going to texturize your hair now. You pull them out, they're thinning scissors. And they're almost fighting away from you, aren't they? Yeah. Because at some point, somebody's had a bad experience, unfortunately, with tools that we use because they've been used in the wrong way. And it's just like a re-education, isn't it?
Exactly. And I was going to say, this is why these sort of educational things are important, because people don't necessarily know these things until they've had the mistakes, unfortunately. But
completely. But then another thing is as well, I think that if you don't make mistakes, you ain't trying hard enough.
Yeah, true.
I think that you need to.
I've made mistakes. I've made mistakes on my footballer clients. I'll be honest, I have. And I've done it and not dared watch the TV afterwards.
Seriously?
Yeah, and it's never as bad as I remember it to be, ever.
No, I think that you're overcritical with your own work, to be honest with you, Simon. You're always, you're sort of like, I'm not sure. And I'm like, what? We've had this conversation before when we worked together and you've done something. You've gone, oh, I didn't like that. And I'm like, what on earth are you going on about? And you're overcritical, bud.
No, I'm not going to deny that. Just a few T's and C's to read out. Thank you very much to Matt Steptoe and Carol Ritchie, who are absolutely sharing the love, tagging friends in there. If you wanted to win this competition, I did make it clear, but the end date for this, do not worry. If you're watching this back tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whenever it is, you've got till Monday, the next live, the one that's with me, before we announce the winner of this week's live. So you've got a full week to share it.
Okay. So, coming to the end of that. It's a lot quicker than doing scissor over comb work, okay? So
massively, yeah.
Got a nice little bit of definition in there. With this actual haircut, there's certain sort of like, there's weight that's been left in and weight that's been taken out. But that's, to understand that, we go into more in depth on my course.
Nice little plug there for the old Matrix well.
Which, if you're unsure, if you missed it earlier, it's called The Perfect Pixie with Christian Wiles, yeah?
Just on that note, by the way, while you're going over that, I always forget to throw this in there, but if you are interested in more education, we have 100 and odd labs that we've already done on the Hair Socials, so there's well over 100 in the library now. But there's also an even bigger library on a website called L'Oreal Access. If you go on there, it's not just Matrix, which we want to promote Matrix, go through the Matrix first, but once you get bored of Matrix, there is even more education than you could even imagine. It's like Netflix for hair.
Oh, do you know what, Simon? That is a seamless link, because I don't know whether you remember, we'll probably be doing this over the next sort of like few weeks, is going through and encouraging people to sign up, right? Because Simon and I are working on a product launch that we can't discuss now. However, all will be revealed in the next, I guess, few weeks. And there's going to be loads of, it's a Matrix launch. It's a new product that's coming out. It's absolutely delicious. And for you to get what we're giving away for free education, snapshots. We're going to do treatment menus. We're going to do haircuts. We're doing, there's all sorts, right? And what we'll do is we'll put a link in anything that we're doing related to L'Oreal Access, okay? The problem with that is, if you then at that moment click on that link, if you haven't signed up, you'll then have to, and it's a massive ball ache then, and you're going to miss that. You're going to miss that opportunity, I think. When it's sort of like there and you're in the moment and it's just literally clicking on it, you're straight there, absolutely superb. I think really, if you guys haven't, we'll put this out there, really, you need to actually sign up for that now. And you will not be disappointed. I mean, honestly, if you're a Matrix user, if you're a L'Oreal user, if you're a Reckin user, if you're a Pulp Riot user, it has got everything on there, absolutely everything on there. There's some things that you can purchase and some courses you can purchase that aren't expensive and some which are for free, and
there's a lot for free.
There's a lot on there for free, a lot. And I don't think, all my lot that I work with, they're all signed up on it. So, when we're sort of like talking about, there's formulas on there, there's understanding mixing ratios, there's all sorts. It's really worth it. Product knowledge, it's
Tell you what, while you carry on entertaining for a second, I'm going to log in and take a screenshot of the kind of stuff and put it on the screen.
Yeah, you should do that. So the next little tip that I'm going to give you with working short hair is something that a lot of people don't like doing, and that's razor work, okay? Razor work, again, there's a time and a place. I'll give you a few do's and don'ts, with that. Just a snapshot, just to sort of like understand, how the tools work, how the tool works, the difference between a feather razor and a straight razor. So this is a traditional razor, okay? Traditional razor, cutthroat razor, is used for shaving, or you can use for personalising haircuts, right? You need great skill to use one of these to work on hair, to be honest with you, because if you do not get your angle right, you're going to take too much hair off for a start. Secondly, when you're working on dry hair on the surface, let me just pull this down and then you'll understand what I'm talking about, because I'm sure, like me, you're a visual learners and we need to see exactly what's what. Right. Rule number one, when working with a razor on hair, you need a lubricant on there, You need something that the razor's going to slip along, right? My recommendation, best product, okay, right? This is absolutely fantastic for a cutting agent, all right? It's even better if you're doing razor work. You need something that the razor's going to slip down, okay?
Otherwise, you get the clients cringing because it feels like that you're doing it with a blowtorch.
Well, let me tell you, this is what's going to happen, right? You work down there. So let me just show you the difference between. So alternate action. We've got enough on there. There you go. Hair's lovely. It's wondrous. It's you could actually use the Miracle Tree 20 as well. That would work. That's another product, results range that would actually work. 20 benefits in one tube. Don't ask me to name them all. Okay, so this is the difference between feather razor. Okay, it's got teeth on it. This one's got something like 12, 13 teeth on there. Okay, you can get them with 9, you can get them with 6. Okay, so the wider they are apart, the more distance between each cut you get. Okay, so the gaps are in there. I particularly like this, 12 to 13. It's quite soft.
Yep.
Works really, really well. Okay. Straight razor. There's no guard on it. Okay. No guard on it. All right, so that is ferociously bare. You work on this, it is gonna, it will take, right. So working with the razor, if you brought this out, right, and say it was on dry hair, and you work with a razor, can you see that?
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, flat like that, and you
Yeah.
dragged it along. Yeah, what's it going to do? It's going to ruffle that cuticle.
Actually threw me then, mate. I genuinely didn't know an answer.
Seriously, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask everyone as well before you tell us.
Yeah.
Throw it in the chat. Do you use a razor in the salon? And if you do, are you confident with it? And if you don't, then just put no. Right, go on. Sorry.
No. So again, there's a time and a place for it. Would you use it on curly hair? Me personally, no. Would not use it on curly hair. Yeah. I wish I could show you a diagram of the hair at the points of where you'd actually cut it, and the difference that that's going to make on, you know, all different hair types, because we are an all-inclusive brand and we talk about, you know, all hair types welcome. Would you use this on curly hair? Me personally, no. I'm sure that there's an amazing hairdresser out there that has probably mastered the craft of razoring on curly hair. Yeah, I'd like to meet him or her, but I personally wouldn't. Right, curly hair needs that that bulk at the base to sort of retain that curl. When you use a razor on it, you make it really weak and fine towards the ends, and it's just going to frizz. It's just like an explosion.
Yeah.
Not particularly nice. But then, like I said, I'm sure that there's someone out there who's absolutely amazing that's mastered the craft of that. And you know, if that's the case, I'd like to see him on hair series. That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be cool, mate. I'm not gonna lie. It was always rule number one. I've been hairdressing 18 years now, and it was always rule number one. Not on fine hair, not on really coily hair.
No, I wouldn't do it on those. So you need lubricant on there, or something that the actual blade can travel on. All right. So the blade's got some slip. So we're going back to what I call the feather razor, okay, which has got the teeth on it, 13 in this case. Even with this, if you held it, I'm not very good at angles.
No, I struggle with that. Yeah.
Yeah, straight to the hair, and you brought that along. You're going to get a horrible, rough sound. Yeah. You're going to pull the hair. You're going to buckle and shred the cuticle, and it's going to be an absolute. And you won't take much off. Shall I show you?
Yeah.
Look. All it does, it just takes the surface off. Look. It's horrible.
I guess the way you could look at it is you wouldn't shave your face with a flat. You'd
No,
have
you
it
wouldn't.
angled.
No, you wouldn't, right? The other thing is, if you go in too much of an angle, yeah, you're really
That pain just to do that. I could feel the anxiety before you did it because you couldn't be bothered hacking it all off. I could see it in your face.
Me?
Just for the example, I realised that you were thinking I'm going to have to do this now. I saw the hesitance.
This is it. So, but what you find is you hold the hair out at an angle 90 degrees from the floor, yeah? Right? You're going to take less hair off, right? You're going to create graduation. It's going to be softer, okay? You're holding the blade at that angle, right? So it's kind of like a loose 45, all right?
Yep.
Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
So I'm even though I look like I'm doing nothing, I'm actually reading the comments. I've even got a little diagram to throw up in a second once you've shown us this.
I know you are. It's like when we go out for a beer and you're kind of on your phone and I'm talking to you and you're not listening because you're answering all your fan mail.
Shut
up. So you hold the hair out.
Yeah.
Blade at a 45. Shallow strokes, you're going to take more hair off. You can then work with a point cutting technique, yeah? And you're working with the edge of the blade, right? And you're breaking the hair up. You bring the hair down, okay? And you're working with short strokes. You're going to end up with a stronger baseline, okay? So that's tip number one, right? So let's get in this let's get in this fringe, right? There's a strong baseline. And then what we're going to do is work that section above it. And we're going to elevate that section, working with the blade on a 45. Okay. And then we're going to create graduation. It's going to be a lot softer. Okay. Still working with that. Then we'll move on to another technique. So while I'm doing this, if you want to ask any questions, because you notice I can't do two things at once. I'm not very good at that. This is why in the salon or where I work, it takes me about 2 hours to do a haircut because I can't chat.
We've had some lives, mate, where you just think you haven't even touched the hair, so you're doing very well, I promise you. I'm going to put a chart up in a minute. You will be familiar with this chart while you just do that little bit. Now, this chart is a 1A, which is no bend in the hair, all the way up to a 4C on fine, medium, or coarse hair. I'm going to make it bigger so Christian can see it.
Yeah.
What type of hair pattern would you recommend not to razor above? So, for example, 3A.
So, off like here. So, I wouldn't do fine.
Yeah.
You could do a little bit on it if it was sort of like internal, and could do a little bit. You could do medium up to wavy 2B, coarse up to wavy 2B. Yeah, that's it. Nice. I wouldn't go. I personally, I'd be out of my comfort zone with that, and I think the hair would just explode on the ends. Do you know what I mean? You've gone from it. You're basically the biggest thing that we don't. We always say this: what hairdressers think they do, but clients don't know that we do it, is consultation. And the consultation, obviously, is the most important part of any hairdressing service. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether that, and even with the regulars, you know what I mean? We don't do the same again. Don't do it.
Yeah. Do you know what? I was taught that very early on. If you ask that question, I used to get a little slap with a comb as I walk past.
Oh, you should, yeah. Well, I wouldn't dare do that. Not
today.
Not in these times, Simon. I tell you. Yeah, I wouldn't advise it. But no, but it's just not. You just don't do that. I tell you, the day that you ask that question, that client could be coming in, right? They could have thought about it since the last haircut. Yeah, massive change. Something might have happened in their life which warrants, a big change, which is cheaper than getting a divorce, I guess. With the hair, and you basically give them the same again, and they're going to walk out of that shop disappointed. And where I am, there's I tell you, there's 40. Well, you've been here. You go up and down the road that I'm on. There's about 40 hairdressers and barbers that we're in competition with along this street, right? It's also got the biggest variety of food as well, which is absolutely superb. So you can, it's always a dilemma at lunchtime. If you get a lunch, which is very rare, but it's always a dilemma of where we're going to go, because we've got food from around the world on this street. But yeah, they could walk out of my shop, look left or right, and walk in somewhere else and get that change.
I agree. And it depends what type of salon you want to be, but if you want to be a premium service where you want longevity, you want client retention, you want all that things, then you've got to give a damn, and you've got to care, and you've got to ask them, what do you want? What do you like? What do you not like? Sometimes I think it hurts hairdressers' pride to say, what don't you like about the hair at the minute? What is it that you're struggling with?
Biggest can of worms you open. Right, so this is what we do, yeah? We say, right, okay then. Are we going to maintain your style, or do you want to change?
Yeah.
And as soon as you say that, you'll get, what are you thinking? And then it turns into this sort of and deep down you're thinking, oh my God, please just have the same as we have. I've got 45 minutes, do you know what I mean? I ain't got time for it. But if you don't ask it, that you could lose that customer.
100%.
Also, it's having an understanding of what that person actually wants, how the hair falls, what tools you're going to use, all these different factors that could be overlooked if you're not doing, the consultation correctly. It's bonkers, but it's some people don't do it, do they?
Somebody sent me a meme the other day of hairdressers, types of hairdressers, and one of the memes were the one that drops everything, and apparently that was me. I was tagged in that, so I felt your pain when I heard that bottle fall on the floor. Then
it was a comb.
Oh, very well. That's even worse, though, because they're harder to pick up.
I was going to kick it about. So we've got the baseline in, okay?
Yeah.
See, we're elevating the hair. So we've got our guideline. Can you see that?
I can see. I can also see that comb swirling around there, my friend. That's a party trick, that one. I like that
one. That's done unintentionally, I don't even know I'm doing it. I only do it when I do it.
That's as natural as my hairline, my friend.
Oh dear.
Katie Steeden from Alan Howard has joined the chat. Welcome, Katie. Don't forget, guys, for those that have just tuned in, if you want to win a Matrix bundle, including colours and salon supplies, have kindly given Christian, his local supplier, a bundle of the new styling products to give away. Then all you need to do is share the live and tag at least one hairdresser in the chat.
Yeah. Okay then, so we're working through that. Obviously, as we're working through, we're maintaining the length, through that top section. Breaking up that hair, working with the guideline, the strong guideline that we created, keeping the blade at 45.
So we're constantly, sorry to recap, just for people that might be watching. Are we bringing this down to the same point before we start razoring?
Sorry, you confused me there.
Yeah, sorry. So when you say with the guideline, are we looking to finish the razoring at the guideline, or are we looking to start the razoring at the guideline?
Right. So we created a guideline. Do you remember at the beginning we brought it down, yeah?
Yeah.
Right? So that is our guideline, right? Where we brought the first section down, where it's stronger. Okay? Everything above that now is being brought, is elevated. Yeah. Still working with the razor at a 45-degree angle. All right? So we get more of a clean cut on there. So we're not surface razoring it, because if you surface razor it, what happens, Simon?
It makes it all frizzy and fries it out.
Yeah, fries it. You can't work that over the top. It's not what the hair wants. All you're doing is just scraping that cuticle layer off, and you're damaging the hair. Okay then. No, and you're bringing it all to that point, Simon. Look.
Yeah.
So initial guideline that we put in, the strongest part where we brought the hair down, that is where all the hair's coming to. Okay?
Awesome, thank you very much.
So what that does is then it creates graduation through the front area. See that?
Yeah, know that.
All right. So you've got that virtually. I mean, we can do this in many ways, yeah? I mean, we used to sort of like take hairlines off, scissor, clipper and comb, boom, off at the hairline and then work from that, working back. Similar sort of principle, a little bit softer, a lot softer. Okay, so this is what you kind of find with razor work is a lot softer.
So I've got a point that I want to think, and not to jump on the live, but quick one actually. Saint Salon in Leeds have just put, this is the first time tuning into a live, and it's brilliant. So thank you very much for tuning in. There are 100 others to watch back afterwards, but I must admit, even I'm buzzing. Christian's on. Again, I mentioned it earlier at the beginning. He's not just a friend, a colleague, he's a mentor, he's a bit of everything to me, to be fair. But on the razor cutting, I want to kind of go into that. When you said then, there's one key word that I don't want people to miss out on, and it was the word elevate. Because how many times do you do a haircut, not you personally, Christian, I mean the audience, how many times do you do a haircut where you cut it and you use the guideline and then you dry it, wash it, dry it, and then you go back in and re-cut into it because you need to cut, do a bit of texture, take some weight out, whatever it be. But look at that now, just from the elevation, how much weight it's taken out of the fringe.
Okay, right then. Top tip, I don't know how many we've done, but it's another tip for you.
I've run out of paper.
Here's another little for you, okay? So you could either use the comb that I dropped on the floor, and obviously if I was working in a salon environment, I'd have a little bit of clean it spray on it or washed at the basin
Yeah.
before I put it on. But this is a great thing about working with mannequin heads. They don't moan about anything. So it's whatever you do, they're happy with, or that expression doesn't change, does it?
No.
So again, wide or wider, or I like working with a wider comb on, with when I'm using razor work, or if I'm doing any sort of like texturizing, because you've got a lot more freedom, when you're working with it. When you're working with finer edge combs, okay, it's a lot more taut as well, so you're controlling, your precision is there. This is like giving you a little bit more freedom to be a little bit more creative.
So with a
All right.
razor, you would rather a wider tooth?
Yeah, and then so that if you kind of mess it up, right, you don't see it as much. No, I'm only joking. Of course,
Never messes haircuts up.
You don't. I mean, right, okay then. So here's another one, right? So we've done the sides, we've done that front section. We're now going to work on the sides, okay? So this is the area from the parietal ridge, okay? Working up, and we just want to soften that a little bit, okay? To soften that, great little tip, razor over comb. Okay, now you could do these in other ways, right? You could use texturizers, which will soften it. You could point cut it. You could, well, that's about it really. But yeah, using a razor over comb, again, what that's doing, you think about it. We've gone in with the clippers, yeah? That's quite strong and tight, isn't it? It's quite a blunt cut, okay? Yeah. It's like scissor over comb in, then you go into point cutting, then you can go into texturizing, yeah? And you diffuse and you soften that shape, right? Clippers is basically a pair of scissors with an engine, yeah? But what that is doing is it is blunt cutting that shape, yeah? It's making a very strong blunt shape. And it doesn't connect to what we've done that's soft here. You with me?
Yeah.
So then just by elevating that section and working through and just literally just taking those ends off, you're softening that, you're connecting that shape. Okay? All right, we'll do the same on the other side. This can be, you can actually do razor over comb from the bottom all the way up and actually do that as a haircut. When you've mastered, when you master the skill of using
I've never ever done, and I like to think that I'm all right at short hair, and I've actually never done razor over comb ever.
Have you not?
No.
You want to try it, man? Try it. It's a really nice little blending, technique. So if you were going to do that, say you had someone with long hair and they went and a really great way of doing it is this technique, but from here all the way up, with someone that's got longer hair and then they want that sort of really nice soft edge, all the way around the hairline, not a strong hairline, works really well. It's a lot softer all the way through. It's actually more of a sort of like what I call an indie haircut. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. It's going around full circle, by the way, isn't it? Because obviously I only started 18 years ago. I'm not saying that you started longer than that, Christian. But these are the haircuts that I was being taught at the beginning. So I remember thinking that this was sort of like... I remember having to relearn how to cut precision with scissors because I'd spent that much time using a razor. So I'm wondering if we can see the razor a lot more going forward.
I think so. I was taught... I worked with a company right at the beginning, many years ago. Tony and Guy trained, okay? And they would be almost, I'd say, third, fourth generation Sassoon-esque kind of way of cutting. A lot of blunt cutting. You wouldn't use texturizers and stuff like that. I think over the years things have been introduced. Great company to work for at that time. It was before they'd really sort of like pushed the franchises and all that kind of stuff. So absolutely superb company to work for. But never would you use, I was never familiar. I didn't use clippers. Couldn't cut men's hair, mate. We did do
Really?
men's hair, but yeah, we did do men's hair, but it was all scissor and comb cut, the whole thing. Never used clippers. And then literally, I left there. I worked for a mate of mine, or not a mate, I was recommended to him, became a friend. And I worked with a Greek barber who taught me how to use clippers. And I remember, yeah, it's hilarious actually. I'd left London, came back with my tail between my legs, overspending as you do, and literally came back here and needed a job. And he gave me a job, and I think it was that sort of like basis of like the skill level that had been recommended and all the rest of it. Anyway, it was just men's hair. And I hadn't a clue. I've never used clippers, and I just went in there and did it. I think it took about an hour to do a haircut, which was hilarious. And I just had him staring at me. You know, like you're all in a line, and I chose what everyone does that's you, the furthest chair from him.
Yeah.
And all I saw, it'd be what.
Wondering why that same client's there when he's on 3 clients in. Yeah.
I've like, yeah, smashed out. No, 4 I think he'd done in that period. Yeah, not good, not good. But I think it's really important to actually, for any hairdresser to understand, you know, whether you pursue that, you know, with the tools that you use is one thing, right? But I think it's important to actually have the opportunity to explore those areas. You know, if I wasn't particularly good at something, you know, I would learn from who I thought was the best at that particular time, or you know, it was the best in my environment, and just keep working on it until I've nailed it. Whether I'd use it again thereafter is another thing, but you know, I think that's important. Okay, then, so we've done the sides, all right? We've done the fringe. We're now moving on to the top section. This might be your long. See why I didn't do the full haircut? Would have been here all night.
Well, to be fair, is anybody who does any work in education, artistry, stage work, anything like that, will realise, they'll understand, they'll appreciate it takes longer than the average haircut.
Yeah, of course. It's sort of like having that understanding, isn't it? Okay, then. So this section, okay. Okay, we've kept that hair wet so that the blade slips through the hair. What we're doing now, thumb, okay, and what we're doing is we're texturising that shape through the top. Now I want that to sort of go a little bit longer, so that's going to be my stationary guide here. Everything's up to that point, okay?
Okay.
And we're just working it back. See that? There's a guideline. So this is almost like point cutting because I'm using the edge of the blade, okay, and literally working it through.
I know we laughed and we're joking about how long obviously the lab is, but do you think this is a faster way to do this haircut than using scissors?
I think, yeah. Do you know what? Yeah, you could. I mean, this is a slow down version of
Of course.
what we're doing, right? But you saw, you know, you get your basic shape in, okay? You get your basic shape in, and then you work in clipper work, quick, instead of scissor over comb, yeah? Freehand clipper work through here. We've got our, you know, we've built up weight here. I built up weight here. I've got the shaping with the scissors, but then it's clipper work, and you're working a lot quicker with that, okay? I've slowed it right down, you know, working, but you saw how many sections was that just to get that fringe section in, yeah? Then we're over directing, we're working with that stationary guide, just texturising the top area. Yeah, you know, that's pretty much done.
A couple of questions coming in, sorry. Rosie Briscoe has asked, what make is your comb?
Okay, so I use a combination of combs, but this particular one is a Casho or Casho, whatever you want to, however you pronounce it. So I use Casho scissors, Casho blades. I say Casho. Someone told me it was Casho. scissors, blades, combs, or I'm partial to a Wyeth Park.
Yeah.
I do like a Wyeth Park. Again, you know, what I like about the Wyeth Park is they're... It's on here. Oh yeah, it is. Really great for education. It's like numbered along here. So what it helps with is if you took an isolated section here, an isolated section here, and you'd measure that and know exactly where you're taking it, and you can repeat that on the other side. So, you know, and it's something that you could do discreetly. Actually, these are measuring points as well.
Yeah.
These are measuring points along the cone. So if you haven't got them marked along here, you know, you've got these as measuring points. So, or, you know, you can measure with how many fingers you've got on the...
How many you've got left after doing a razor cut with Christian Wiles?
Yeah, how many you got left after one of my courses, yeah. We are in short, aren't we? Okay, so those are, I suppose, the main tips, you know, through that. Now, I could dry this off, but then I'm sort of like aware of how much noise that's going to make. But what I'd rather do is move on to what I've had earlier. I could talk about the colour placement as well on this, if you want me to do that. This is partly. I mean, it works, but it also helps you with your sectioning. So look where that is. Yeah, it's on the parietal ridge, so you know exactly where to go with it. Yeah. And then just sort of like emphasising, really the idea is just sort of like emphasise the longer parts of the actual haircut as well. Yeah. Lightening those, adding a little bit of detail through the sort of like the crown area. Okay, you can see with this texture, really just, which you'll see on this, exactly the same haircut. What you find is what I tend to do as well is if I'm going to take something quite short, I do like that a little bit lighter because what it does is it opens up the face. Okay, you start sort of like working with darker shades through the front, it does close it off. So if you've got somebody who's got, you know, like quite a rounded face, you're going to make it rounder with that shape and then go darker. Yeah. So, you know, we can do with colour what we can do with haircuts, or, you know, they sort of like complement each other. And that's obviously something as well, you know, on one of, you know, this particular course, I've got creative cutting course as well, and what we explore those options of like colour placement. You know, where would it be the best place to put it? You know, to emphasise or enhance that haircut. You know, I always like to have, you know, like a focal point. You know that it's like, and that's where you get the compliments. Oh, I love that haircut. They love the haircut because there'll be a focal point or a piece of detail on there that's drawn them to that haircut. Do you understand? Yeah. But, you know, so what I've done with this is wrap dried it. Okay, so wrap drying it with, again, you know, I would have wrap dried it with a nozzle on, yeah, but someone's used my hairdryer today, and this is what they do. They use my hairdryer to take the nozzle off, right? I work with a nozzle unless I want sort of like volume and ruffle the cuticle, yeah? So that's another reason why I'm not going to dry this one. We'll give it a bit of a blast. But this is the Gamma IES, right? So it's the Intelligent Energy Saver, all right, which is absolutely perfect in this day and age, yeah? So it doesn't use, got more power, uses less electricity.
Am I meant to use that? I've never even seen that before.
You're not seeing that? Simon, you need to get that in your kit bag, mate. They also do it in black, but I'm a bit partial to green.
Yeah.
Because it's that garish, usually no one wants to borrow it.
I just realised as well, you said I'm that into green, and it weren't until you said that I thought we've got a doll, a shirt, and a hairdryer.
Mate, I love a bit of green. Love a bit of green. I think it's the Norwich City in me, mate.
Yeah, maybe.
So, yeah, so wrap drying is working around the head, yeah, with a brush. So you're not really getting volume, but you're basically seeing the true way the hair falls, okay? That was prepped with this little fella, controller gel. I cannot emphasize how much I love this. Yeah, it's absolutely superb.
Yeah.
It's light in texture. It's got enough hold, so it's got that punch, but it doesn't go flaky. Now, if you leave it, like, I've got it on my hair now, right? So that ends up looking like it's been painted on because I've just literally put it on wet and then combed it through and leave it. You dry it in, you know, the body, the movement, and the texture is absolutely second to none. So that is a superb product. Absolutely, I love it.
What I love about that one is it creates a bit of separation as well. So if you're looking to dry it in, you also get a separation.
Yeah. So it just literally, what you find is, you know, with some haircuts, you can put all this texture in, but if you're not using the right product, it doesn't enhance it, does it? It doesn't showcase what you've done. So using your intelligent energy saving hairdryer by Gamma Plus, I just literally work through the controller gel. Okay.
I've got every product but the one I'm looking for.
Say again.
I said I've got loads of products, but I haven't got the. I thought I had it in here. I have a kit bag. Sorry, I'm miles away from the microphone. I have a kit bag, but then I have a spare sort of thing in here because this is where I do my mates hair.
Oh, you got backup bag.
Backup bag.
Backup bag. Everyone needs a backup bag.
I'll tell you a true story. I once went to a footballer's house and I left my clipper bag at home.
So you went to do a haircut without your kit?
Where I got my kit, but I left the bit that had my clippers in, so it's a separate part at home. And none of the footballers that I cut hair for would live anywhere near where I live. They were all like an hour plus away, and I was on a tight thing, so I had to nip into Argos and get like some clippers from a.
You busted out a footballer's haircut with some Argos clippers.
Yes, mate. True story. He doesn't know. No one needs to know. That's the end.
Well, he does now. He does now, mate.
Yeah.
So, we've worked through. So just sort of like maintaining that shape. So we're not like using a round brush or anything like that. Because you don't need to. You don't need that lift with it. It's just going to turn it into what could be quite a cool edgy haircut into a round brush blow dry. It's just not pretty. Now, this is so. Do you know what? When you first introduce these products, you kind of get something that you go like this one. This was the one, you know, when we did our boot camp. Hammersmith. Triple free spray. That was the one. Thought fantastic. It's got 3 nozzles in, you know, not nozzles, what they are, exit points for the spray to come out. It's a dry. That's what I like. I like dry sprays. Don't like wet sprays. When you sort of like working, manipulating with hair, especially when you're working on shoots and all the rest of it, the last thing you want to put on anyone's hair is anything wet. So you want to get as many looks out of that as possible. So when you're doing show work, you don't want anything wet, right? It needs to be dry, it needs to be pliable. That's perfect, right? Then I met this. Right? This builder spray, builder wax spray, it's on another level, right? It comes out. And like you immediately think, because the word wax, it's going to come out wet, isn't it? Yeah. And you just put it on. It smells delicious, by the way.
It does smell good.
Oh, it does smell really absolute. But look at this, right? And look, you hardly have to do anything to it, and it bloody stays there. It's absolutely fantastic.
One of our clients ordered that on his next haircut today. I'm not. I nearly swore then. I am not lying. He will, and he's also ordered that just because of the smell.
Right, let me tell you this, if you can get it, fantastic. You know, because it's out of stock at Salon Supplies.
Okay.
So that would have gone into the pack, right? I'd got this before, so that would have gone into the giveaway. Our good friend Salon Supplies. That would have gone into the giveaway,
Yeah.
But we're out of stock with it, and I think it's like as rare as hen's teeth at the minute. So if you can find that, absolutely fantastic. I've got 6 of them here if you want to buy one off me.
Inflation as well on that because of that in demand.
Yeah, this is it, you know. But it's just delightful. It's one of the best. It's dry, it's pliable. Look, it just It is just absolutely, and it just brings that texture out. It's absolutely superb, all right? So just
Katie's got
recap.
me covered, by the way. Katie said it'll be on my order this week.
Is it? Okay, I'll have some as well then, mate.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. It's it is one of the best products in the world. It's absolutely fantastic. So just recapping. Prep the hair with controller gel prior to the blow dry. Okay, did a wrap blow dry, wrap round. So you're working round the shape of the head with, again, a Wiles Park equivalent of a Denman brush, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is great. Or you could use like a paddle or a flat brush like this. Yeah. Or you can use what most barbers love using. It's one of them little Voss brushes. You know, like the what's it called? It's a I can't even think what it's called. It's a Voss brush. Ven brush, one of them, working it round. But you're better off really with one of these two. So like a flat brush or equivalent of a Denman, or you can use a flat paddle brush. Yeah, wrap dry around the hair, right? So what you're not doing, you're working with the shape of the head and the texture that you've created. Okay, you've then got the foundation from the controller gel to then manipulate with our builder wax spray. Absolutely superb product. Manipulates. I love it. I can't say enough about that. And then, do you know what? You could be cheeky enough then to finish with a triple freeze spray.
Like it.
All right. This could be. This haircut really is all about the texture. Okay, so if you kind of work that through, you've got it through here. You can lay it as flat, or you can lift it as high as you want. You can create that sort of faux hawk kind of like look, where the weight is through the back. We've got nice little. You can see that.
We can really see the over direction as well on the weight on the top now.
On the top, yeah. Okay. So if you want to know more about that, then you're more than welcome to book on one of my courses, shameless plug, which is called the Perfect Pixie, along with what is it? Blonde Decoded or Blonde Unlocked. That's another great course of mine. Or Creative Cutting. That works as well. Okay. Or if you're really feeling up to the challenge, Cutting Mastery. That's the biggest one. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, we have Barker's, Salon Supplies, Alan Howard, and they're just the ones I recognise in the chat. So if you guys want to advertise these courses, this is the video to share, or just put a link into where they can book you for the destinations of north, west, northeast, and all that jazz.
Yeah, so it's just it's just really just a snapshot on what the course involves. Obviously, it goes more in depth. We're talking 2 to 3 haircuts, and they're all on mannequin heads and colour placement as well. All right, all of them you're going to be able to use in a salon.
Yeah,
or your hairdressers. That's what I'm about, and it's also understanding, the colour placement and the products that we're using, the colour that we're using as well. Okay, I think then, should I tell them what we're doing?
You can do whatever you want, my friend. It's your live.
Yeah. So Simon's doing his. I think it's next week, isn't it? You're doing yours. Which is going to be fun, and then we're working. I'm not going to say what you're doing. You can say what you're doing if you want to say what you're doing. But we're then going to work together. Where Simon's created a haircut, and then I'm going to support that haircut with colour placement.
Correct.
Do that live, yeah.
So there's no better or more on trend haircut, I would say, at the minute. Than your wolf cuts, your layers, and things like that. Obviously, that's my course. But what I'm saying is, we're going to show you how basically you can make that a salon friendly, versatile, and up it with a colour on top of that as well.
100%. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be fun.
It will be fun. It's bad enough when we're not even in the same room, so I can only imagine what's going to happen. Good luck to Rosie Briscoe, who'll probably be holding the camera for us.
Rosie Briscoe will be babysitting us both.
Yeah. Great short hair tips from Donna Carr. Thank you very much. Katie said, this is great content to share with salons for the courses. Thank you both. There's 2 more lives coming from us both as well, so don't miss out on them. And lastly, just if you can share this course, you've got a chance to win a Matrix goodie bag. I can't give you the details because I'm still waiting for marketing to tell me exactly, but they did say I could promise that I'm giving away colour And Christian's got from Salon Supplies the new branded products. So yeah, hang on a minute.
But not the Builder wax spray.
But not the Builder wax spray.
Really clear. That's not in there, unfortunately. Sorry, guys.
It's all right.
I made up with it the Vavoom freezing spray. So.
Do you know, I ain't even got that, so I'm going to play with that when I get to your salon. So we've got St. Salon Lee just to finish on this one because otherwise we'll be here all night. It says, even my mum's friend, Jill, asked for a wolf cut in her 60s. And it last
Jill.
week. Go on,
Love
Jill.
that.
But yeah, awesome. So thank you very much for your time, Christian. Is there anything you want to finish on before?
Do you know what, Simon? Other than it was been an absolute pleasure as always. You know, I know that we speak to each other daily and all the rest of it, but I felt a little bit more connected today. It's lovely. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. And thank you guys again. Last chance. Get it shared. You've got till next Monday and tag a friend in the comments. But for now, it is bye and we'll see you next week.